So today we're going to go into the use of personality tests, also known as psychometrics. So if you walk into most psychologists or psychiatrists' offices, the first thing they'll usually do is hand you a personality test. And when that's coming from a strictly materialist point of view, the purpose isn't really to help you understand yourself. It is to tell you what to think about yourself. And that's where the trouble starts because that can actually put a new lie into your mind. Why is that? Well, it's because the only person who can truly know what's wrong with you is you. Other people can help you look, sure, but only you can actually discover it. Now, materialism doesn't really allow for you in the first place. Everything is reduced down to brain reactions and chemistry, and so the logic becomes if something's wrong, we need to alter the brain. That leads to drugs or heavy electric shock or even surgical procedures, all aimed at forcing a person to fit into society. But what all of that really does is dull a person's ability to think clearly. You can see the effects of that everywhere. People walking around in a fog, reacting with hostility, even reacting covertly and hiddenly with hostility, tearing others down, acting like victims of life instead of participants in it. And some people even sink into this apathetic place where nothing seems to matter at all. And here's the thing, even without drugs, even without shock treatments, you can still damage someone's ability to understand themselves. Hypnotism can do it, materialist psychology can do it. All it takes is labeling someone, telling them you are this or you have that. It shuts down their ability to observe and reason for themselves. And when you operate from the assumption that people can't change, you cut off their reach to improve. What's sad is that people often feel a sense of relief when they get labeled. It takes the responsibility off their shoulders for a moment regarding their own condition. But that relief is a trap because it also takes away their power to change. Over time, that leads to deterioration, not improvement. Now, in Jungian psychology, personality tests are mostly used to identify what mental illness a person supposedly has. They don't really solve anything, but they do help people manage their reactions to those issues to a point. Jungian psychology handles symptoms fairly well, but it's built on the idea that the true cause of mental illness is unknowable. So you're always working on effects, never the source. Scientology takes a different approach. It uses several psychometric tools, the well known being the Oxford Capacity Analysis, at least the most well known. And this test is entirely based on what you think of yourself, your attitudes, your reactions, your relationships with others. It's a personality test originally developed at Oxford University in England. And what it does is help you see your own condition through your own perception, not someone else's label. Because in Scientology, the source of these conditions and the mechanics behind them are known. And once you understand those mechanics and mechanisms, you can actually reverse the things that are holding you down. You relate the truth of those principles to your own life, and the truth sets you free. You see, that freedom shows up as less anxiety, less depression, more certainty, more activity, real measurable change. A typical program is shown here with before being this dotted line and after being the solid line on top. Depending on which areas you are struggling the most with, your program might include courses that teach you techniques you use on yourself, ways to bring truth to past incidents or handle situations in your present environment that are affecting you. You might also receive counseling that helps you find what's depressing your abilities. And once you see the truth of it, you're no longer trapped by it. I also recommend the book Self Analysis. It's full of therapeutic processes you can do on your own. It includes its own psychometric scale so you can track your condition as you go and actually see your own progress. If you want to talk more about this, reach out to me directly through the email in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.